In this video, I'm going to go ahead and press my flap, my top flap down. I just sewed it in. I'm going to double check that it opens, because if it doesn't open, then I have a problem. But it should open. And now I'm going to go ahead and press my seam allowance toward the flap, okay? As I press it, I'm going to be really careful not to melt the teeth of my zipper, because those are plastic, so they can melt. I would recommend using a low iron setting and just being careful, low heat setting on your iron, and just work on mostly just pressing the fabric part of your zipper. So here's the fabric part, that's not my teeth, and I can press that, okay? But when I flip over to the other side, I want to be really careful. As you're pressing, you're just going to make sure you're pressing the zipper and the fabric towards your flap, so we're not pressing it open. I'll go through and press all of that, and then after I press it on the outside, I'm going to go ahead and press it on the inside using what's called a tailor's ham. And this is what it looks like. It's a tool for pressing curves, and since we have a curve here, I'm going to use it. You find the curve that matches what you're pressing. So I'm going to use this little curve over here, and I'm going to go ahead, and now that I have that on the curve there, I'm going to press, and I'll be really careful not to melt my teeth of my zipper. Remember, pressing is an up and down motion, so I'm just going up and down along the way. Hopefully you can see that okay in the video. And then I'm going to press this other side as well. Once you have that pressed pretty good, you can go ahead and start pinning to get ready for your top stitch. So I have that pressed, and just like I did the top stitch here, I'm going to do the top stitch on the top of my other piece. So I'm going to go ahead and pin my seam allowance to the flap and make sure it's pulled back tight so that it won't get in the way of my zipper. My flap won't get in the way of my zipper. And I'm going to start at one end, and I'll just go ahead and pin that seam allowance to my flap, just like so. And I'll go through and do that all the way down so that I can have a really nice, neat looking zipper top stitch. Remember, top stitching has two purposes. Its first purpose is, well, it depends on what you're using it for, but one of the purposes might be to anchor your fabric in place, which is what we're doing here. We're trying to keep that seam allowance from getting in the way of the zipper, as well as the flap fabric from getting in the way of the zipper. And then another thing is it makes things look really nice and professional, so it's like a decorational thing as well. So we're using both of those purposes here to make it look really nice. So I'll go ahead and pin all of that, and then I'm ready to go sew this again, just like I did over on the bottom side of my zipper.